Hello everyone and welcome back to the usual setting for Whiskey Wednesday. So back to one whiskey a week, and just looking at our whiskey collection in the corner there, we've got quite a lot to work through. Over that 7-week period of doing that beginner's guide, I've picked up a lot of new things, and some of it is extremely interesting. And we're going to kick off with something that is extremely interesting in general. Glenfiddich XX, or Project XX, or Project 20, numerous different names given to it. This is one of the more interesting releases in NAS whiskey that's happened in the last couple of years. So, we all know about Glenfiddich. Glenfiddich is the largest single malt exporter on the face of the planet. Between themselves and Glenlivet, they constantly compete for who can produce the most, who can sell the most, and Glenfiddich are renowned across the world. Every whiskey drinker knows what Glenfiddich is, even if they haven't tried it. This is the first, well, there was two. The first year they've released something called their experimental range. And as far as my knowledge is aware, they'll be releasing 2 new bottles every year. They're a little bit experimental and a little bit funky. And yeah, this is one of the ones I picked up. The other one was an IPA cask, which I tried, which was nice. It was very subtle, but I tried this one next to it and I thought this one was just a little bit more interesting. So yeah, Project 20 or Project XX comes in this wonderfully designed, very sleek looking tube. Nice big thumbprint on the front of it. And 20 minds have come together to create this. So you've got 20 minds and one unexpected whiskey. Now, the 20 global brand ambassadors for Glenfiddich went up to the distillery, chose their favourite casks, and it was all put together. So I believe it's 17 bourbon barrels, 2 sherry casks, and a port pipe. So very, very interesting styles, Glenfiddich and port. I'm not really seen any standard releases like that for, well, ever, really. And all packaged together in this rather swish looking packaging. Now, the global UK brand, the UK brand ambassador is a gentleman called Mark Thompson, and I've had the pleasure of attending 2 of his training sessions in the past. One when he became Glenfiddich brand ambassador for the UK, which he still is, and one previous to that when he used to work for the Spirits Bureau and he trained me up on Girvan. Very charismatic man, very well dressed man, and knows his stuff, and his cask has gone into this. It's 47% ABV, it is natural colour, and it's also non-chill filtered. And I think in a world of non-age statement releases, this is exciting, it's fun, and the fact that they're going to be releasing this for the next couple of years, 2 a year, is really exciting to me. I find it really, really just joyous, the idea of Glenfiddich getting together the people they employ and going, what should we do? And they've released this thing, and it's really, really great. It's about 50 quid a bottle, which I think is a very normal price for something that probably ages between, 12 to 20, maybe like 22 years. Doesn't state it anywhere on the bottle. But for something that doesn't go in the age statement, it's exciting, it's fun, and hopefully those of you who have tried it enjoy it. But now, let's do the review. So, natural colour, and you can tell there's a nice bit of sherry influence in that. It's not totally bourbon orientated gold colour, there's a nice kind of bit of dark orange running through it. With it only being 1 port pipe, you're not going to get a lot of that kind of luxury red colour. But nonetheless, a very nice colour. Sticks to the glass very well. Nice legs, nice body. Exceptional. You can kind of tell it's Glenfiddich. It has that classic kind of conference pear note of pear juice and pear drops. Really clean, kind of orchid flavoured fruits. Orchard, I should say, rather than orchid. Yeah, pears, apples, pineapple. Really kind of juicy, fresh, ripe peach. Bit of mango, a little bit of mango. I mean, it is bourbon cask dominant, and those kind of really rich, exotic fruit flavours do come through as a result of that. But there's still that wonderful, luxurious element of caramel. It smells like a typical Speyside. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So in ways, it is extremely like Glenfiddich, and then it is not at the same time. As soon as it hits your tongue, wonderful, rich, sugary, sucrose sweetness, fruit juices, lovely acidic citrus notes, and then spice, but kind of like ginger and turmeric. Really unusual spices to kind of pick out with Glenfiddich. Maybe not so much ginger. Certainly turmeric is a tasting note I've never come across with Glenfiddich before. How do we know it's got some old stock in there? It is wonderfully drying, and the way in which the spice attacks your palate is something that I've only ever experienced with whiskies that are in excess of kind of 18 years old and above. There will be some younger whiskey in this, without a shadow of a doubt. Does it bother me? Not in any way at all. Wow. Yeah, like, the finish is so herbaceous, which is something that I've only really experienced with kind of Glenfiddich 15 before. It goes from really sweet on the nose and lovely and rich, and then it's almost earthy. Not like peat, but kind of like basil, thyme, even mushroom, which is an unusual tasting note. It's herbaceous and it's spicy, but it still has this creaminess to it. I mean, and it is 47% alcohol, so most Glenfiddichs are what, 40, maybe some come in at like 43. But what an unusual product! What a fantastic product! I did fall in love with the bottle when I first saw it. Like, look how wonderfully designed that is. Glenfiddich always had this association with being like an old man's drink, and it's not the case now anymore. I mean, even if it is, old men drink up, it's great stuff. Young men too. But this thing just looks so beautiful. The way they've kind of modernised the deer and all this kind of stuff, just absolutely extraordinary. Cracking job on the styling, cracking job on the flavour combination. Glenfiddich and Grant's brand reps, I approve. It's absolutely extraordinary. Especially the price point too. 50 quid for something that is hand-picked by the people that William Grant's trust to sell their product. I think that shows so much courage and so much faith that a brand has in the people they employ. I'm not familiar with anything else that's ever come out like that, and I'm a big supporter of this. I love this whiskey to bits. One last taste just before we give it a score. I've had a few whiskies this year where the smell, the palate and the finish have been very different, but none more so than this. Sweet, opulent nose, a finish that is dry and spicy and kind of challenges you as a drinker. because you see that stag on the front of it and you think it's going to be very easy drinking. And it is easy drinking, but it offers you more of a challenge than the regular Glenfiddich range. And then the palate is a transitional point. As soon as you get it, all the sweetness, all the fruit juice, all the caramel and vanilla influence from those bourbon barrels, and then herbaceousness and spiciness. Excellent product, excellent price. On the shortlist for one of my bottles of the year, in all honesty, and that video will be coming up before the year is up, so I've not got long to film that. But yeah, Glenfiddich Project 20 or Project XX, 8 out of 10. Stunning stuff. Shortlist for a contender of the year. There we go, folks. Glenfiddich XX. And next week we will be reviewing a bottle that I expect a little bit of controversy from all of you. Not because it's a bad drink, it's an amazing drink, it's an amazing brand, but a lot of people are a bit hung up on it, and I'm hoping to change that. So join me next week for something that's maybe a little bit controversial. But for now, and this week, this has been Glenfiddich Project 20. I've been Phil, I still am Phil, and that's an 8 out of 10 product. If you can find it, I think it's a European only release, selling for a lot more on auction websites. But if you can get hold of one, I would recommend it, even if it's just a sample, totally worth it. Project 20. Cheers guys, thank you, have a nice day.